Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host Barbara with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
And our guest today is Madeline Weisse. Now, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, and it's and you do something called on
Hi,
getting
Madeline.
to what?
Hi, Madeline.
Yeah.
Hi there, Jonathan and Barbara, and thank you both for having me. I'm delighted to be here with you.
Oh,
now,
great. We're so happy to have you. Johnny, tell us all about Madeline. I'm so excited.
Now, you do something called getting to great, or it's great spelled out. Why don't you tell us what that is to begin?
Okay, so for a little context, I help high achievers learn how to master their minds so they can have happier, healthier, productive lives. And about, 6 months-ish ago, I said to myself, what is it that's exactly working for all these people? What is it that's giving them that smile they're looking for, that sort of feeling of energy and more hours in the day and freedom and fulfillment and all that good stuff? So I really contemplated what they had in common, because they're all so different in age and gender and occupation, and every parameter you can think of, they really do vary. So I was wondering, so what is it that they all have in common? And what I came up with was that they all journeyed through these same 5 steps. And then, of course, I was thrilled. Yeah, and I was, really happy when I realized.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, Madeline. How many people did you have to research of these high achievers to find out these 5 steps, which you're going to explain? How many did you have to research to find out that is statistically, what's going on here? That's interesting.
Well, I've been working directly with my clients since 2013. Before that, I was the associate director of the anatomical gift program at Harvard and was moonlighting in this kind of work that I then pivoted to full time. So it's since about 2013 that I've been doing exclusively executive career and life coaching. And again, I just noticed that there is a trajectory of steps that people pass through, no matter how old they are, no matter what gender they are. I'd be very happy to unpack that for you if you'd like.
Yes, I would love.
Okay, so I said to myself I wanted to put that in a bottle, so I did. It's in a book that's coming out in March, and the premise of the book, which then leads to the steps, is that a great life depends on a great fit between who we are and the environments in which we work and live. So the first step, so it's G.R.E.A.T. So the G is for grounding. And that's grounding in the belief that it doesn't have to be like that it doesn't have to hurt that way, that life isn't meant to be painful in the way that it is for these people who seek my help. And when they come to me, they don't really necessarily 100% believe that it can be any different. Mostly they just want the pain to stop, but they don't know that they can actually really enjoy their lives. So that's what the
Is this
G.
like emotional pain you're talking about, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. And
Just
then
the anxiety of having to be excellent and high achievers, and there's a certain amount of probably anxiety that goes with that. Am I correct in saying that? Or
yeah, there's kind of like a rat on a treadmill, the hopelessness and helplessness that goes along with that no matter how hard you try, how hard you work, no matter how many hours you put in, they all put, working harder, not smarter, so they all put more and more and more and more hours in, and then that affects every other area of their life, and yet it's not bringing the return on the investment that they would think it would. So that's pretty demoralizing. And from their point of view, they've tried so hard. What could possibly, they're smart, and they've tried everything that they can think of. So, again, they're not really believing necessarily that things can get any better. So I kind of hold that space for them because I know that it can. And so I hold that for them until they can believe that themselves.
I understand.
And then
I
they
understand.
Are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but hold on, because some people like this. I've asked these types of people. I feel like I am this type of person, but I have more balance. But sometimes I ask people, and they're like, "Is it ever enough? Is that enough money?" I'm like, "Well, you already have like 4 Ferraris. I mean, how many do you need?" I need more. I mean, is it ever enough? That's the answer they gave me. So let me get this straight. You were trying to let those types of people know that it is enough. It's okay. Enjoy your moments, because otherwise they'll go through life. They're so successful, and often we do wonder, well, they have it all. Why aren't they not happy? Is this why you started this research?
They're not happy because who they are is not in alignment with the environment around them. So that's what the R is. The R is for recognizing, if a great fit depends on a fit between who you are and the environments around you, first you have to know who you are. So you have to know what really matters to you, what makes you tick, and it's not what someone else who may have meant very well by you, but it's not what someone else thinks you should be, or what you may have even thought your whole life that you were supposed to be. It's something deeper and more fundamental than that people don't know a whole lot about necessarily. So that's what the R is. We find out about how they can recognize who they really are, because if you don't do that, you got that?
May I interject something? Because I really understand what you're. Oh, this is amazing! I'm so glad we have you on, because I want to know why they, just because they're overachievers, they have, is it a gene? Is it a physical thing? Is it just a mental? I mean, where does this come from that they feel something isn't right? Like, why? Why them?
Well, something isn't right because something isn't right. The first client I ever had, when this was years ago, I was training at Harvard University Mental Health Services, and they sent me a gorgeous young man who had just gotten into Harvard and Yale Law School, and he was crippled with anxiety because he couldn't figure out which one he should go to. And what that boiled down to is that he was so gifted and talented, and people around him knew that. and they wanted to make sure that they all grew that and took care of that, and they were all over him. The poor kid didn't even get himself out of bed in the morning. His mother came in. So he never had to think for himself, ever. And now he has this decision to make, and he doesn't know how to make a decision because he never had to.
Did you say that his mother got him out of bed every day? She did that for him?
He told me that he was having trouble getting to his classes on time. And I said, well, like, do you set an alarm or something? He said, well, no. My mother always did that, so now she's not doing that, and nothing is happening, and I'm never getting up on time. And it was like, I just thought it was so emblematic of the larger issue, which is that he never learned how to decide what was best for him based on who he was, not who someone else thought he should be. Yeah?
He probably was like thinking, well, what's wrong with me? All these other people are getting there on time, but he's probably getting like A pluses and probably valedictorian, but he can't, do these simple things. And they don't know. Is that what you're saying, Madeline? They do not know deep down what the core issue. So that is called the grounding. That's number one, grounding. Finding out who you are.
Right. That's knowing who you are so that you can make decisions and arrange and align your life to fit with who you are. But I can't tell you how many people I'm seeing actually now who don't know which way to turn because they never had to know because everyone else knew for them. So that's one very common theme that I'm seeing. So I feel that. So that's the second step. That's
cool because that's so simple. That is such a simple
remedy.
The whole thing
is really,
wow.
Yeah, you're right. So and then the E is for once you know what makes you tick, then you can start exploring possibilities of the right kinds of environments, like what's going to do it for you. And it may be things you never even thought of, or it might be things you thought of, but you said, nah, that isn't going to work, and that kind of thing. So now we blow that whole thing completely wide open, and we look for all the possibilities that are out there for all of us. And then we see which ones really fit.
Okay, hold on. You said 5. Okay, one is GRPG. Did I get that correctly? That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
GREAT for great.
And you told what the 5 steps were. Could you go over that again first? Because we're on number 2 now.
Well, no, we're moving on to the E in great, GRE, and the E is for exploring all the possibilities that never seemed possible before. So people are pretty narrow in their view of what's okay for them to be and do. And
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I really want to understand because I'm writing notes. G is the first letter, and it's spelling out great. Is that correct?
Yeah. If you write down G.R.E.A.T. Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't get that at the beginning. I'm so sorry. Okay, grounding, and then R is, So grounding is the first one, and then R is for what?
Recognizing who you really are.
Okay. And then E, now we're on E, correct?
And E is for exploring all the possibilities that never seemed possible before. That's E, exploring. And then, so William James said that action does not guarantee happiness, but there's no happiness without action. So the A is for action. So at the end of every session, let's say, people come up with one step they can take to, I'll use that word, manifest, to bring alive, to make real
we love that word.
The possibilities
we love that word
that
around here.
Okay, all right, good. So the A is for action that's going to manifest. And we like to keep it not such a big step that it totally overwhelms, but big enough that the brain likes novelty, so it's big enough that the brain gets turned on and wants to do more, wants to take another step. That was fun. What else can we do? So they're on a path, and it's one foot in front of the other, big enough to excite the brain, but not so big that it overwhelms. And do you want to guess? You want to guess what T is?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Go ahead, Johnny. You guess.
I would say T is try.
Try?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to guess.
That's actually good. The reason that I like...
Is he hot? Okay, he's hot. But it's not curly, but he's
the
cool,
reason
hot.
that
I
like that, is because at that point, you think it's all going to be smooth sailing, but people resist change. That's just normal, natural, human, predictable. There's going to be resistance. If you're making any real change, if you're taking, that book, The Big Leap, if you're taking a big leap, there's going to be resistance to that. So T is for tackling the normal, natural resistance that comes along with change. So how we get to great is in those 5 steps that I've found work beautifully for people. And they didn't even know
G
they
is
were
for
doing
growing.
5 steps.
R is for,
G is for grounding in the belief that it doesn't have to be that way, that they can have a happy, healthy, productive life. And G is to get grounded in that belief, because if you don't believe that, it's not going to happen.
Right. And then you have to realize who you are. Then A is for action. We are E, exploring. Explore. Like, try it out. Give it a feel.
Yeah.
And then A, and then A, act upon it. Take action. And then T, really tackle it, because now you know who you are, what you're going for, why, and all of the variables are surrounding you. Your surroundings, who you are, why you feel this way, why you're having roadblocks. Now you know all of that. Okay, great. You did the work. Now tackle it. Am I correct?
Yes. So some people have, like one of my clients was a doctor who picked up his family and moved to New Zealand because he thought that he preferred the way they practiced medicine there, and he realized that he's very adventurous, and everybody in the family was on board. So he went to the other side of the world. I have people who left the defense industry and went into finance, moving from the East Coast to the West Coast for a totally different style of life. But what I want to emphasize here is that I also have worked with people who stayed right where they are and rearranged the furniture on the inside and fell in love with what was already there. So again, it isn't like there's a cookie cutter one size fits all, except for the process that they go through.
That makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. And you're the one who came up with working at Harvard. Hello. That's amazing. See, this is your thing, the 5 things.
Yeah, I just came up with that within the past year. Again, I was so delighted when I saw it worked into great, because I thought, why not have a great life? What else are we going to do with it? You know, we're here. We're given this. We're here. We're given this gift. There's a woman who wrote The How of Happiness. I don't know if you know the name, Sonia Lubomirsky.
So I don't. Do you, Johnny? Do you, Johnny, know that author?
No, I don't.
She did a lot of research. I think she's a research psychologist. And in her book,
her name is Sonia Lubomirsky.
Yeah, it's a hard spelling. It's something like L-Y-O-B. Anyway, the point.
Okay, just send it to us, and we're going to post it. We're going to post it because if you're referring for people to read this, we would like to post that on our website.
Well,
so just
I don't know
whether
they need to read it, but I want to tell you that what she found was that people have a happy stat. You're sort of basically about this happy plus or minus a little bit either way, and everybody's sort of got one, and that determines around 50% of your happiness. But the other 2 findings that are so interesting is that, you know, that those 4 Ferraris you were talking about, or somebody wants a new job with a better title, or somebody wants a raise, or somebody wants a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, all the stuff, the circumstances on the outside, she said that's determinant of 10% of your happiness. 10%.
That's not very much.
Correct. So we all live our lives like it's 90%. And we're constantly trying to rearrange things on the outside, thinking, and then we'll be happy. But what she found was that really only accounted for about 10%. So there's 40% left over there. And she said, because she found this in her extensive research, is that the 40% is our intention and the decisions that we make on how we live our life. So I'm thinking 40% is a whopping number that really can tip the scale and make all the difference. And if people go through these 5 steps for their 40%, they really have a chance of making a really big difference in their lives.
So it doesn't matter how we were raised, if your mom babied you too much and all of that. There's a million things that we think, oh, gosh, well, we don't even know. That happened to us. It all can be fixed? Are you saying this all can be fixed?
Well, actually, you raised a good point, and I'm really glad you did, because I would like to address that. When I start working with people, even though I'm a trained psychotherapist, I tell them, you know the term peeling the onion? It's like taking the layers off and getting down to how your mother toilet trained you and things like that. So I tell them that we do only as much of that as is necessary to get the job done. And I say the job is not your past. The job is your present and your future. So whatever we can learn, if there's something to learn from your past that's going to help us in the present and the future, great. But we're not going to sit there, because I really feel that a lot of therapy is kind of like that, and it really only locks the trauma in. So I think of it in terms of planting a new garden. I want people to throw all their energy into planting this wonderful new garden and just let that old thing that didn't feel so good anyway go to seed. Just let it go. So.
By the way, you guys, Madeline, I don't want to interrupt because this is an amazing show. If you hear some train, do you hear the train? Do you hear the train?
I do.
Okay, I'm on one. So
you're on.
Yes, and I have a lot of space. Actually, this car I have all by myself. I'm comfortable and sitting here. So I just didn't want you to wonder what in the heck is this train. I'm trying to put it on mute when it is honking, but it's honking a lot. So I'm sorry about that, but that's my life. You know, I do the show from wherever I am. I just got back from Mexico. Go ahead.
Oh, I used to live across the street from a train station in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. So I got kind of used to that.
I love the sound. Do you love the sound of the train?
Yeah. As long as it doesn't disturb anyone else, I'm fine with it.
Well, it's like
thank you for being here.
A feeling. You're welcome. It's like a feeling of sometimes, hey, where, and I know there's many stories of young children who are in a situation where they want more. They want more from life, and they have something, a desire burning inside of them, and that train sound, that honk of that train, gave them that feeling of like, I can get out of here and do it, right?
Yes.
I love that. Okay.
Action.
So
action.
That's the part of the action. Yes. So they already, some people already did the knowing who they are, realizing it, and they're grounded. They are exploring it, maybe reading a lot of books, imagination, manifesting. Then they take action, and and that train sound made all that happen. But a lot of people are not that fortunate to where their own brain works like that, and they need help, which that you do give.
Well, you're right that if you're saying that people more or less have a sense of who they are, some people do more than others, and some people not so much. But even for the ones who have a really good sense of what really lives inside of them that really matters to them, they're not necessarily as clear on the importance of having an environment around you that supports that. A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to get the environment to support that without realizing that it's just not the right environment for that. So that's when people are banging their heads against the wall and making themselves very unhappy because they're trying to change that 10% that feels like 90% in the environment around them.
Can you give us a specific, just take one out of your hat, like a specific experience as a person, their problem, and then how you help, what the therapy was, how long that took? Okay.
So there's a woman who's an attorney. She's a health regulation attorney who was about as unhappy as she could possibly be. And she hated her work and felt like she was there for the money and then hated herself and the work for that. And she realized that what mattered more to her than anything in the world was her family. And all of this she felt was taking her away from what really mattered to her. So what felt like such a powerfully pivotal moment was when I mentioned to her that this job she hated actually was so nourishing to her family because it allowed them to do this and this and this and this together that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. And there was something about her beginning to be grateful to her job and how fortunate she was to have it that made her fall in love with her job. And then, not only that, since the actual work was so tedious and boring, she put together 2 side hustles with her son and her husband. And she was so excited.
Did you say side hustles?
I did.
That is a new thing. That is a thing too. Okay. Hey.
Okay. Well,
this is
America.
We have let's do a side hustle, which means a lot of people don't know what that means. Can you explain that to them first?
Well, I don't want to say too much about what she's doing because I don't want to get close to identifying her. But a side hustle is something that it's a business. Well, actually, she said 2 of them. Businesses that she's building on the side, outside of her primary job. What's so interesting about this, though, is that when I first met her, she did not have an ounce of energy to spare. And all of a sudden, because she began doing things that really suited her, and she realized that what she was already doing actually was suiting her more than she thought. She had all this energy for all these side hustles.
I was going to say something about that. I want to say something. Sorry.
Yeah.
Funny, like one of the things about this show that I created that makes me happy is sharing it with friends. But also one of the things that really makes me happy is, this is where I co-host Barbara, is that she can bring her friends on. That actually is what makes me happy, you know. So it's sort of like, we had someone, you know, on the show who didn't want Barbara to bring her friends on. And that got me really depressed. So I realized, you know, one of the things that was making me happy is when Barbara can bring her friends on, you know, and I'm not saying I'm going to know a whole lot about what they talk about, but it feels good to have Barbara bring her friends on and be able to share it with people. Does that make sense, Barbara? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. But that has to do with being good intentions, which you have, Johnny, inside your heart. Johnny knows who he is. These other people who said, oh, it's Barbara or me, get rid of her or us, thinking, he's going to choose them. He's so smart. I really think that Johnny has gone through several of these steps. The thing is that I've watched him grow so much because, you know, he's surprised. Wow, this is growing. This is happening. This is amazing. So, because taking action. And then the end. I really think that you've done them all now, Johnny. You're really tackling it. Before you were, you know, things are new. It's unsure. You're unsure about things. Now, you know who you are, and you're tackling it. Let's go from, like, hey, number 2 or to T, number 5. I think that is what I have seen Johnny do. But I'm not saying I'm perfect. I probably have a lot more work to do with who am I, you know, that kind of thing. And all of my surroundings are, oh my gosh, they're so getting me, like almost like attacking me, like I feel like, and I feel like, but I'm letting my surroundings affect my peace of mind. I need to go through these steps, and I think this is so valuable of what you're doing, Madeline.
Wow.
And
thank you.
And I don't mean to ask so many questions during your your explanation,
okay.
but I have so many questions. What should I do? I have a lot of questions about it.
You know, I didn't understand a whole lot about I didn't understand what you two were just talking about the way you two do, but what I picked up is that, and you correct me if I'm wrong or off base here, but it seemed like you both realized that it didn't have to be either or, that there was room for everything. Is that close to? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
No, there was not room for them. There was not room for them.
No, I think
didn't even
she
know
misunderstood. I think what I tried to say is there were room for your friends is what I'm trying to say, Barbara. I wasn't even talking about them. No, I'm saying. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
No, but I think Johnny realized that their intentions were bad intentions, and he saw that. That to me makes me feel like he knows who he is. He's realized that.
Yeah.
And he took
that's
action.
what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah.
That's what I was
but
trying to
she
say.
is not, Madeline, thank you. Madeline is not really saying, oh, there was room for them. What were you really saying, Madeline?
I was saying that it didn't sound like either one of you dug your heels in so deep that you couldn't come to some kind of shared view of things. And it just sounded nice. Again, without...
Well, that is true. We are very good at sharing. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I like sharing it with Barbara, because it's like every time I've ever shared something with Barbara, it's always been used and taken and done well with. Like, it's like I bought her this video thing, and then she'll be like, "Oh, Johnny, I made a video the other day. Did you like the video that I made? It's never wasted."
Oh.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like
Barbara.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Barbara.
Yes.
I have this idea sometimes that I like to think of as cleaning out your drawers. And sometimes there's stuff in your drawers that you want to be a part of your everyday life and you'll wear it a lot. And then there's stuff in your drawers that you don't want to get rid of, but you don't want it to be a part of your everyday real life. And then there's stuff in your drawers that just doesn't need to be there anymore. And so periodically, if you're finding that there are people in your life who you've outgrown, maybe, there are nice ways to reconcile that.
Yes, and we were nice, weren't we, Johnny?
Yes, we were really nice. I mean, but they weren't willing to be diplomatic at all. So it's just.
Mm-hmm. So
we feel confident. We do feel confident about the way we handled it, and not a mean, attacking way at all. And hey, we never talk about them. We don't do that. We don't gossip and talk about that. But we're just trying to analyze it, because this was a big part of our life. I mean, this is our career. This is my new career after a year of 7 days a week, every single day, 5 o'clock going live. With Johnny, promoting, building this business, and then they were going against the grain. But that I want to just compliment Johnny for actually knowing who he is. On that. Yeah. Good job, Johnny.
You don't necessarily have to, I'm going to use your word, analyze it. Again, if you think in the spirit of planting a new garden, just tend your new garden.
Okay, because I always analyze, Madeline. I'm always dissecting and analyzing. And you know what? That takes time, and time is energy, and time drains you. And, I mean, that type of
it's
thinking
more than
can
that.
Drain you. What is it?
It's actually more than that. It actually strengthens the neural connections that got you in the trouble in the first place. So what you want is those neural connections to weaken and fade. And the way that happens is you don't use them. So you're planting your beautiful new garden, and that's where all your attention is going. And these other connections that kind of drew the wrong people to you will get weaker over time. So that's how I think it happens.
And can I ask a question to Johnny, and then you let me know if this question was correct to ask. I was asking him, well, why did we have these people on? I mean, what was the first day? Like, why did he acquire them? I mean, he had such a good heart. He acquired them out of so much good. So why did so much bad come from that?
You asking me? Me or Madeline?
Well, I'm just saying that's what went down. I feel like, you had them on, and we thought this was great. This is all great, and it didn't turn out that way. Should we then in turn question ourselves as why did we trust those people? What's wrong with us? Why didn't we see this?
I know that there are people, and I'm not one of them, but I know that there are people who would actually support you in doing the lessons learned kind of thing. My own bias is just keep on doing better, healthier, happier, productive. Just keep on tending that new garden. Because
you're in the now. You're in the now.
I want to say what my theory is.
In the now.
I want to say what my theory is. Okay. I set the show up kind of very unique way, in the sense that even though I was the one that made it, I tried to make it as much of a team player as just possible. Decisions are made when we talk to each other and everything. It also is a show that isn't named after me. It's named after a concept. The reason I'm saying all this is because of the fact that that's a responsibility that I'm throwing a little bit on the people that are doing the show. And apparently I don't think these two could handle it, because what they were doing was they were trying to take over, and they were, indirectly, pushing Barb out, or, wanting Barb out, and, doing things like talking behind Barbara's back and everything. And I don't think it's like you can't handle it. You can't handle what I'm offering. Barbara can handle what I'm offering. Which is, the meaning behind the show and everything. So she doesn't let certain things go to her head.
Well, thank you, because I thought this is going to be big. Sorry to interrupt, Johnny, but I was thinking this is going to be big, and Johnny was seeing this too, and it's a little scary because expect now, and it's getting bigger, and they expect, can we deliver? And he hasn't been in that situation before to be, wow, we are big. We're not just needing anybody's help. They are coming to us now. And so, but he went over that hump, and he realized that. So, yes, and when other people are threatened, I don't want to say jealous, because jealous, okay, they're just jealous. I don't like it when people say that, really. They were threatened by it. They felt like, okay, if Barbara is going to do her series, she may threaten us because that might be better than our series that we were doing. Could that be a possibility? Or should we not even go back there? Should we just say, hey, I'm tending my garden now. Forget about all that. Move forward? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That's healthy.
Yes. Because
that's the healthy
if you go
way.
because if you go back there, it's because you went back there, and you don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that. you can go forward. And I'm not going to tell you, by the way, that there aren't people who won't have a problem with your success. They're not a good fit anymore. And so it sounds like you did the right thing, but you're having resistance to having done the right thing. So you need to T for tackle that and just keep tending your beautiful new garden that's going to get peopled with all the right kind of people. The people who want to support you are going to be in the new garden. And there are lots of people like that.
I think we are on the right track.
You are.
Oh, wow.
You are.
I love the work you do with people.
Oh,
thank you.
Welcome.
I love the work that you're doing with people so much.
You know what? I do too.
Oh, say if we just came to you and we're not on the show. Hold on. Johnny, talk. Sorry.
I didn't say anything. It must be an echo.
I know. I'm just saying the train is making an announcement, so I'm hoping that you could, like, talk.
Oh, okay.
It adds to the charm of the call, doesn't it?
Yes, and you know what? I did tell Johnny, I travel a lot. I'm a model actress, entrepreneur, businesswoman, and there will be days that I will be traveling, but I will do my best to be there, and I am here.
Yeah.
And I did make sure that I could be sitting on a train without actually getting on a train during the show, but actually already be settled on the train, half an hour before we start. So, yes, I'm doing my best. There may be train honks and announcements. And, hey, am I sorry? Well, I am kind of sorry, but I am sorry for the inconvenience if it is inconveniencing people. But I feel like it's better to do it, to get this you here today to tell us this important information. So I'm already moving on. I'm already tending my garden. I'm already
That's
past
right.
that.
You go, girl.
I got it. I got you, Madeline. I got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You do.
I love
Every
realization.
Every time you find your mind going back to what you call analyze, bring it forward to the new garden. Just bring it forward. And
I was doing it wrong, gently. Madeline. I was doing it wrong by analyzing and dissecting. And, because that takes so much effort. And why? Move forward. Tend your garden. Go forward.
What a waste of energy, right?
Exactly.
We need to spend our energy wisely. You have to put it where it really counts and where it makes us happy. And putting your energy there doesn't make you happy. So
that all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Hello.
I love it. I'm
here.
I love it. I love it.
Are you still hearing a lot of train announcements, or?
It's because I am getting up on the next stop, which is fine because that's going to be 6 o'clock, and that will be our hour. But I am not finding that this is very interruptive. And since we do this 5 days a week, I would love to have you back on, Madeline, to
wonderful.
keep going. Yes. How did Johnny find you, by the way?
I have no idea.
I think it was on Facebook.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So my book is coming out, supposedly, if they keep to the publication date, it'll be March 2021. And there are chapters on all kinds of specific things, like time and money and play.
Wait a minute. I found out how we found you. You were in the BSA, BC Accelerator. I'm not.
Right.
But I want to get that. But that's how we met. It's
Yes.
You won't know who that is, Barbara, but that's how we met.
Wonderful.
So,
You're very
so
good.
anyway,
Johnny.
I was thinking if I come back, maybe we could do one of those topics for everybody.
Okay.
And like time
We
or
could
money.
what, everybody? We could what, everybody?
So we could do a specific topic from the book. We could either talk about time or we could talk about money. That actually might be a good one, you know? So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, while we have this chance, do a shout out, Johnny, of where we can find her.
Okay.
You want me to do that, or do you want to?
Yeah. Where can we find you?
Steve.
I think the easiest way to find me, and I want to invite everybody to grab a free exercise off of my website. So if you go to madelineweisse.com, and I'm going to spell it, MadeleineWeiss, madelineweiss.com. On the home page, it says complimentary exercises. And I want to recommend that you get my favorite one on the pull down, and it's called power breathing. And it's how things like when you begin to feel like you're reacting from your lower brain and you don't really want to do that, this exercise puts it right upstairs to the executive brain, and that's where you want to make all your decisions and responses from. So this exercise is only 30 seconds just to flip things into the right place. Yeah.
Wow.
And then if you do that, you will get my book announcements, and I also post every week on something to do with everyday life. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
And then my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn icons are on there. So everything's really pretty much on the website. So.
Great. So everybody go to madelineweiss.com, and you were talking about a book coming out. Have you written a book before as well?
I was a co-author of a chapter in a book before, and I've been published in newsletters and journals and things like that. But this is the first book that I have written as a sole author. And it has...
Congratulations.
It has a lot...
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, honey. Every chapter starts out with a little anecdote from my quirky life, and then it goes on to theory and research. And at the end, you know how you asked me for a case example? At the end of every chapter, there's a case example about the topic and then an exercise. So it's packed full of goodies for whatever you like. So.
That's amazing, and that's so great.
No, thank you.
Oh, wow. So what do you think about us? Okay, you're here with Life After Happiness podcast. We now are branching out. We have a TV channel on Roku, Life After Happiness, and we're booming. We're doing great.
I know.
Thank you. But just by talking to Johnny and I, how do you think we're doing as far as your 5 points in grace?
I honestly think I'm one of the happiest people on the planet, not because I have any better reason to be so than anyone else, but because that's a mindset that I've adopted, and I just like living in that space, and anyone can. I study philosophy, by the way, and I have been for 20 years.
Oh,
and
wow,
so,
that was an major.
Oh, really? Wonderful. Yeah. So everything that I'm espousing is actually rooted from the ancients. This is the way the Stoics talked. And we have a lot of power to decide whether we want to.
When a person in general writes a book, there's an extensive amount of research. There's an extensive amount of research when a person writes a book, especially one Harvard graduate as yourself. So that makes me trust. And I want to get your book.
Well,
and where do we get it? Is it on Amazon?
It will be when they launch it, which is not going to happen till 2021. But I want you to know that I'm a very hungry reader about research on what makes people tick and what gets in the way. So even though the book is finished, I'm still reading all that stuff just to learn what's new. There's brain science from around the world that comes out every day, and it crosses my desk, and then I do blog posts on it and stuff like that. I just find it fascinating.
Are you expensive to hire you? Say a person is just kind of in a stuck rut, but very highly motivated, and they're a high achiever. How much would you charge them to go through this 5-step process?
I am very, very happy to discuss that with anybody who wants to set up a phone call with me. The only thing that I would say here is that when you think of it as an investment in the transformation of your life, it isn't very much.
I believe we have a caller. Would you like to take a call?
Oh, great.
Okay.
Are you sure? Okay. This is area code 434. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hi, caller.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Khalil. I'm calling from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Hi.
Hi, I was wondering. Huh?
What were you going to ask?
I was going to ask, I would like to go to Richmond one day, Richmond, Virginia. And I was wondering if you could see me doing that soon. And if I do go to Richmond and spend the night, do you think that things are going to change and I'm going to end up in a hotel room or if I'm still going to end up camping out in Richmond?
Is this, are you calling for a psychic question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was a psychic.
This is not our psychic night. Fridays are our psychic night. But
okay.
Just so you know, you might want to check back with us on a Friday because that's when we have the psychic on. It's okay. It's just that, but Fridays is better to call in for that, right?
All right. What kind of questions?
Yes.
What kind of questions
Call
are?
back on Friday.
What is this show about?
Well, we cover everything, but what I'm saying is that this show is we're interviewing a life coach right now. Madeline Weisse is a life coach, but what I'm saying is that we do cover the paranormal on Fridays. Is what I'm saying. So if I didn't get a chance to screen the call, if I had, I would have. So I mean, do you have a question from Miss Weiss or about it's what do you do for a living?
I don't do anything for a living. I'm on disability, and I'm just living my life trying to be the best person I can be, and treating others how I want to be treated, treating myself with respect. I don't really do anything for a living, but I want to.
That might fall in line with what Madeline says a little bit. Am I right, Madeline?
I was thinking, Khalil, if you want to go to my website, if you join the mailing list or get one of the exercises there, you'll get these weekly blog posts that will help you be the very best version of you, and they're all free.
Okay.
So that's at madelineweisse.com. MADELAINE Weiss, WEISS, madelineweisse.com. I wish I had an easier name.
If I could add something, we will be posting Madeline's website on Life After Happiness, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our website, so you'll be able to find her, sir.
Thank you.
Have
a good night.
You're welcome. Call back on Friday to talk to the psychic. So,
all right, sorry about that.
That's okay, man. Thank you.
Sir.
I wish I could answer questions like that.
Well, we created Psychic Night to sort of help out people like you. So like you could because see, like when we have nights that are devoted to a particular topic, it makes it easier to talk about other topics because it's redirected. You know, you understand? Like Barbara has a night when she has her friends on, and it's easier. It makes things easier.
Yep.
Oh, Johnny calls them my friends, but some of them I don't even know. What he's referring to is that I'm a Playboy playmate, okay, 28 years ago. But it's still a big part of our lives, and there's a lot of women who are Playboy playmates as well. And we get to what you were saying earlier, Madeline, about what makes somebody tick. There's a lot more to a person than the outer appearance. We are human. Yes,
for sure.
And that is why the other people who were working with us had a problem. And that's really what I was trying to expose is that, okay, it's not just surface. It's not just about how you look. And Hugh Hefner himself cared so much about us and who we are, what's inside, and all of that. That's what I wanted to showcase. But they couldn't see beyond just the photograph, And so, Madeline, with your expertise, was Johnny and I, were we right? Were we correct in our thinking?
If you were feeling out of alignment with these people and there was chronic sort of tension, that's all you need to know, really. If you,
I was getting very depressed, and I didn't want to be depressed. I thought, I didn't do the show to be depressed, and I did it so
right. Yes, right. So I kind of have a rule of thumb. Instead of just writing people off automatically, I have this rule of thumb that I will say nicely, when this happens or when you do this, I feel whatever it is, and I don't want to feel this way. And is there something we can do? And then if nothing changes, maybe I'll try it one more time, thinking maybe they didn't hear me. But after that, I kind of assume that it's just not the right fit, which sounds like what you did. The only thing I would caution you on is what we've talked about, which is going back there too much instead of going forward and tending your new garden.
Yeah, that's true.
It's where your happiness is. It isn't in the old space, it's in the new one. Right?
Right.
It really makes so much sense. But, Madeline, okay, I'm an analyzer, and you were saying that...
Knock it off.
I need to knock that off. But when I look at you and what you've done with all the research and the analyzing of how to help people, but that's analyzing. How do we decipher, like, what I can analyze and what you can analyze?
Well, in your case, I think what we're saying, and I think we're all agreeing, that you can check in with yourself and say, is this what I'm doing uplifting, or is this what I'm doing draining me? And you both realized that it was draining you. And then you made a call, if I understand correctly, to support your own health and happiness and not continue to drain yourself, which is what you're going back there and working it and working it and working it. You kind of convinced me that that's draining to you. So you can tell what is nourishing and what is not. And what is nourishing should be embraced and cherished, and what is not needs to be set aside so that you can tend your new healthy garden. Does that makes
a lot of sense? What about you, John? Okay, yes.
No, I was thinking, I'm just saying, yeah, it did. What, is everyone here?
I'm here.
I am here. I was in an elevator, I must admit. I'm here out of the elevator. I'm home, you guys. I'm in America. Yay! I was in Mexico, Madeline, for Thanksgiving. You know what I did? Okay. I know it's all about this and Madeline and all of that and helping people, and we learned a lot. But could I just tell Madeline and you, Johnny, what we did there in Mexico, please?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I am an ambassador for a nonprofit charity organization, and my best friend and I, Kurt, who's also my agent, he started this 10 years ago, and we go around the world and we feed people. People who are hungry. We feed them. Thank you. We put together 150 bags of all kinds of staple items, and yes. And we went up to a village.
Bless your heart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great
Proud of
feeling.
you.
And, you know, a lot of people gave me a hard time and said, oh, well, this is the biggest traveling day of the year, and why would you go and risk your life and your, teenage daughter's life? Well, you know what? We were super careful. By the way, on the train, there was one other person in our car, totally safe, and I already researched that to make sure. We went there. We had our Thanksgiving, which was lovely. The next day, we packed those 150 bags of all those staple items that will feed one family for 1 full month. And we do it every single month in Mexico. But he's been in Egypt. He's been in Iran. I mean, he's done it everywhere. And this is my first mission, and I was quite proud of it. And it's still great. And it makes me feel good to help. And that's what I did. It wasn't just Barbara going off to, have a Mexican vacation. It wasn't even about that at all. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to, get that on the record. That's all. That's all.
So how do we arrange for us to be together again to chat? Would you like me to be in touch with you after the first of the year or something? How do you want to do that?
That'd be good. I think after the first year, maybe. Actually, I have I'm not gonna. I don't want to make the suggestion on the air, but I don't like doing business suggestions on the air. But what I'll do is I have a suggestion to run past Barbara, and then but it's just an idea. I think I've got my brain, it's spinning around. So, but are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. I just have to put it on mute sometimes because I think that the train stopping is too loud. But we're off the train and a big suitcase. But Madeline, this has really, really, really touched me today because I feel like I am deep. I think that a lot of models, people in the entertainment business as far as being in front of the camera, that they are misconstrued as being shallow or all about their looks, and quite contrary. Like I was telling you, I'm overanalyzing everything. Because
I want to say,
there's deep levels. There's deep levels to get through as a human being. And this is what I actually have a passion for this.
I hope that's going to be your takeaway from this, that analysis is overrated sometimes.
What was that? What's overrated? What's overrated?
The thing you're calling analysis is overrated sometimes. So every time you find yourself doing that, if you want to catch yourself and ask, is this nourishing me or draining me? And then you'll know whether you should continue or not. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes. And that is something that I've told Johnny and a lot of people on a lot of shows, that I call it a phone phobia. And it's not the people's fault. I don't like making phone calls because I just anticipate that phone call may be 20 minutes to an hour. And you have a few of those a day, and that's like 3 to 4 hours of your day. And how do you become through this step process? Can you help people with those little idiosyncrasies that they have?
I sure can.
Oh,
next time.
Good.
Next time. All righty.
Right.
okay.
I want to thank you both so much for this really nice chat. And I hope that it brought some value to both of you and maybe to your listeners.
It sure did.
Well,
and now that we're coming to a close, thank you. We would like to give another shout out and say that this show is going to be on our YouTube channel, Life After Happiness, YouTube.
And on Roku as
go
well.
ahead and watch. And our Roku. If you have Roku TV, it's a streaming device like Apple, but it's one of the best I've ever used. So
do you have Roku,
we have a
Madeline?
TV channel too. Oh,
Sorry.
Madeline, he asked you if you had Roku.
If I have what?
Roku.
Roku.
Oh, I don't think I do. You'll have to teach me about it.
Okay, that's just a streaming device, but that's where we have our TV channel. And this is great because we just have went from a podcast to now a TV channel. And
Yeah.
you can see us
Sounds like
live
fun.
there. Yes, and we can see you live. If you'd like to come on that, we can see your face. You can hold up your book and
Oh,
a
that sounds like
different
fun.
way. Yeah.
I just
That's
got
awesome.
such a rush. I just got such a rush when you said, hold up your book. I went, ee.
Really?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
What an accomplishment. It's not easy. Like I was saying, there's a lot
You're
of
right.
research.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's like, having
and
a
not
baby
only that,
is how I think about it.
and the cover, the illustrations, the spelling. I mean, everything has to be so fine tuned. And I'm so glad that books are not becoming obsolete because people want to hold something tangible. That's very important to me.
There's so many books now. All right, you two.
Okay.
It was a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you again after the first of the year.
Okay.
Yes?
Us too.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so
All right.
much, Madeline.
All right.
Have a great night.
Thank you,
And
too,
everybody
sweetheart.
have a
You
great
too.
night.
Night, Jonathan. Thank you for having
Good
me.
night, everybody. Thanks,
Okay.
Johnny.
Bye-bye.
Bye.